the sheriff and chief deputy about the issue with the part-timers, with the your addition of the $100,000 for the budget for next year for the 2014 budget. And what we'd like to look at is it's an issue with them. It requires 6 different uniforms, 6 different training sessions, and it was at 80 hours, and so it just gets to be a scheduling issue. There are a lot of conflicts with scheduling. If you'll talk to Pam, Pam did a survey, and we've had a turnover rate of 2.24% for part-time termination and 0.60% for full-time termination for this year. And what happens is we train, and like it was said before, that we end up training for other people. We don't pay a lot of money for this position. It's just, I think basically the base for full-time is $32,581. And if you'll look at the numbers that Sean gave me, we're at $41,233 for a full-time with benefits. I have other numbers on that that are close, but we're right at $41,233 for a full-time. So if we had 3 full-time people approved, that would be $123,699, and I think that's what the sheriff and chief deputy were asking for 3 full-time instead of the 6 part-time.
Actually, I think in the budget I asked for 2.
2? Okay. So we're looking at $82,466 on a $100,000 budget. So it's actually under what you've approved, but they would feel more comfortable if we could go with full-time people instead of part-time people. So what I'm asking is for your approval to go to the full-time with the commissioner for 2 full-time.
I understand, but those figures are not exact figures.
No.
Because as time each year you have vacation time, you have
Exactly.
There's all kinds of elements involved.
Right.
And I would like to add, the spreadsheet you guys have in front of you is my spreadsheet. And I mean, no disrespect to George or Sean or anybody.
No.
But I show that a cost for 1 full-time employee with family insurance coverage for the first year of employment costs the county $53,000 and $500. The cost for equivalent hours and pay, so same exact hours of service, same exact amount of pay, is $31,605, which is a savings of $21,899.41. So if you just for an example, if you could avoid hiring 4 full-time employees, you'd save $87,000 in 1 year. I have that's like a summary. I have on your heavy-duty spreadsheet here. If you look, this goes from employment year 1. So I'm a year 1 employee. I am not going to receive longevity, but if you look at year 10, I'm going to receive $500 longevity if their salary is increased by 2%. And then you also have to look at life insurance, $7.80 a month, personal days, 2 each year, first year, sick days, 6 each year, first year, vacation days, 7.5 the second year, and then that goes on, that you're going to get more and more vacation days. Holiday pay, even if you worked 50% of the holidays, and it was 7.5 hours on that holiday, PERF is now up to 11.2%. That we have to pay 11.2% of an employee's salary in PERF. And then I even added in for employment year 1 equipment for $2,500. I got that. I also talked to Sean, and I got that from Sean. Each one of the yellow marks is if it's a full-time employee with different parts of insurance. If it's employee-only insurance, would be the first yellow area, savings. If it's employee by year plus employer, employee plus spouse insurance. So for employee-only insurance, it costs the county $7,300 a year. If we look at employee plus spouse insurance, it costs the county $11,406 a year. And then you go all the way up to a family insurance, and that costs the county $16,902 a year. So the insurance, even just looking at the insurance, and I know there are difficulties in bringing in a part-time staff, but I think, even if you could work some kind of compromise with part-time, full-time, a lot of employers have part-time staff. It's not the easiest thing to deal with. It is challenging to management, but it is the way the workforce is. And even today with all this healthcare issues we're having, staff or full-time employees are going down to part-time because they're not going to be employed full-time anymore, so the employer can avoid insurance. Well, where are those people going? Maybe those people are an option to be employed by Whitley County. I don't know. I think there's a large enough savings there that we should look at it.
You know, with all respect to Paul on this, I guess what, we've talked about this before, and my concern is, we as a county, when we're trying to deal with new companies come in, we want to make sure that they have a living wage, that the people that they have a living wage. And here we are, we're trying to save, and it's significant, $16,000 per year per person, but still, or $12,000 a year.
21.
Well, mine doesn't show that. Well, after 10 years.
No, it's 21,000 the first year. But I have everything in there except for Medicare and Social Security. So I don't know what you're missing, but
Yeah, okay, but to me, it seems like, we're looking at things, we're talking about a confinement officer that's working in the jail and truly they're putting their life on the line every day. It's not somebody that we're paying $31,000. And it isn't always money. I mean, we've got to look at it as we need to pay these people living wages. And part-time, if you get a part-time person, talk to Mark or Mark, either one. You're constantly trying to cover for those people because it's a part-time job for them.
But we said themselves, they have 2 good part-time people now. That's what I heard
Okay.
you say, so.
We do have 2 right now. We have had a real struggle in the past of finding people that are willing to work. Our part-time people work all 3 shifts. If there's a vacation, they're going to third trip. They don't work holidays. We pay extra holiday pay for people on their days off. I truly understand the money thing, and I've listened to it, for years. I know where Whitley County is, I've tried to pay attention and get on board, but even one more full-time employee would help a scheduling problem in the jail and staffing issues with per staff confinement officer to per number of inmates that they're watching at one time. At times when there's one person back there because we have a out-of-control drunk person in the booking area and our one control officer, we've got one person back there trying to lock down 150 inmates. And for security purpose, that's not safe.
And no one's arguing with you that you don't have enough employees. We're saying, here's some employees, but these employees are gonna be classified differently than your other employees. They're gonna be classified the same as the employees you have 2 good ones of right now.
But the problem is we spent, between 5 of us on the board, we've spent endless hours interviewing part-time people, and they don't like the hours. If we could have found qualified people the last time we interviewed, we'd have probably came and asked to hire more, but we can't. For some reason, we can't seem to find them as easy as a work release center, let's say, finds them. The environment that they work in compared to the work release is not the same thing, but yeah, I guess my pitch, without even talking to him and it may upset him, one more full-time employee for us would help out tremendously. But continuing with the 2 part-time we have
what did we approve, four part-time?
We approved
Put an additional 100,000.
at $16 and making the same, they should make the same wage as the current confinement officers make. So they're not paid any differently than the full-time confinement officers. And so we have $100,000 to go towards that. We put it, so their budget is now $130,000 for, in their part-time budget.
I can understand what you're saying, trying to find part-time people with no benefits that work at your schedule, not their own. They can make that much drawn unemployment.
And you gotta also understand that if I was a part-time person, I would be looking for a full-time job anywhere I could go. And my main thought would be on where can I find my full-time employment? So what I'm leading up to is the quality and caliber of the person that you're going to get to work part-time. Any lawsuit that comes across my desk is an automatic $25,000 out of the county's pockets going to the insurance company to cover us. Right off the top, before anything ever happens, that's our deductible per lawsuit. And most of the lawsuits that we have come out of the jail. So that's something to, common sense tells you, you've got to get the right person in that position and not just somebody that wants a job.
And here's just, I think we've been fortunate. We've only lost one that I can recall that we've spent the time training, sent them to the state mandated jail school, which is a 40-hour course we have to. They have to have an additional 40 hours of FTO in the jail. We send them through taser, pepper spray, we get them certified and all this. And then we have a county right next to us that has a humongous facility that is hiring confinement officers all the time. And they get all the training, they go next door. As a part-time employee, they already have all the state certifications they need. So they have a step up when they apply over there.
And that's happened one time that you can think of.
And that's full-time when you go.
Correct.
I have a question. At one time, the jailers and dispatchers were under the merit board. They are no longer under the merit board. Why did that happen?
That was before my time.
I
Long
know.
before our time.
If Nancy was here, she could fill us in on it because I heard it from Nancy, but I don't recall it, so.
Yeah. Well, and my point is, and that's no reflection on either one of you, but I do know from my history over there that if the sheriff got mad, he'd just come in, you're fired. Or if you had a merit board, at least that would be reviewed rather than just go grab your stuff and you're out of here.
Without digging too personal on anything that's happened, there is that I can, no, I'm not gonna recall. There is no employee that has been let go, at least since I've been in this position, that has been given multiple chances.
I'm sure you're probably very true, but it was not the case when I was working there.
George, as a commissioner, you're requesting that we change the money that we allocated for part-time employees to at least one and maybe two full-time?
Exactly. If they're happy with one, I would suggest one, and that would at least solve a lot of their problems as far as scheduling and liability issues. There are so many issues that we're dealing with here other than dollars and cents. What it's going to cost us, it could cost us a lot more.
Is that a recommendation from the commissioners or just you?
Two commissioners. I haven't talked to one of the other commissioners about it yet.
Majority. From the
Well,
majority of the
Yeah, well, I don't want to say that either.
Okay.
This has been truly my personal opinion after talking to the sheriff and Sean. They've asked me to see what I could do about it, and I will not say it's majority of the commission. commissioners, I will not say that, but I will say that, personal opinion, I think we really need to do something here.
Let me say something. Eliminate the personal driving, and that'd probably pay for this.
We need to make an amendment for our budget to accommodate this, or how do we go about this?
You have to amend it.
Here's what you need to think about. You can always make it lower, but you can't make it higher. Right now, it's higher than what
One
is
full-time person.
one full-time person. Actually, two, because you put $100,000, but you gotta think the cost that Paula put on top of those doesn't go with the cost of the 82,466. I mean, if you bring two people in it with that appropriation, it's still money-wise in your budget, you know, you're going from 100 down to the two positions at 66,000, but you're not accounting for her insurance and all the rest of it for two full-time people. If you knock it down to just one full-time person, even if this 41,233 is off a little, it's still below what you have in your budget, and we're still okay. But the amendments will need to be made after the budget's approved.
What's the cost for one full-time and one part-time?
Well, you already have to, isn't your request now kind of one full-time and using the existing part-time, or you need more
Yes.
part-time? You've already got existing part-time, so you're
Correct.
basically looking for one full
Adding-
person.
Adding preferably two full-time, actually, two full-time people would eliminate the part-time.
So it's got, so the options are, you're two part-time and one full-time, or two full and no part-time.
Correct.
Well, their part-time now is at 130,000 for their appropriation.
So if you took that away, there's plenty of money for two full-time.
Yeah.
But 30,000 of that was existing.
Right. But if they are willing to eliminate all of it, that's 130,000. And two positions is 66,000. That still gives you almost, oh my gosh.
66 or 66 or
Is it- yeah.
122,
Yeah,
so it's 8,000 difference. Or
quite a
ballpark
bit.
figures.
Does, we have to adopt that, our budget next month, Jenny, in October?
Right, but as long as you don't go, as long as you don't,
Go
Go
over,
over,
you
you're
can
okay.
We
adjust
can do whatever we
everything.
want with this, I mean, we're already
Right.
budgeted,
As long as
but
we don't go over.
but I'm
what
saying we
have.
don't have to make this decision today, we can think about it for a month if we need to.
And personally, I'd like to see the exact figures for one full-time, two part-time, in comparison to two full-time.
well, the 130 minus, even at 34,000, which is high because we only went with a 2% increase, leaves you with 60, if they're willing to eliminate the part-time, leaves 62,000
Too good.
to the good.
Or 62,000 under the advertised budget.
But we'll have to increase, or we might have a shortfall in her insurance depending on if they're family or, you know, that's always up in the air.
But if you use Paula's figures on that, 48, is that what you're showing on this?
Which one?
Full-time employee,
One, employment year one, it would be 36, and that includes perf, the equipment, life insurance, personal days, but that doesn't include insurance.
but if you add insurance on that, that's 43.
Yeah, insurance,
So
yeah.
you're only, if you go to 43 and you had two full-time, you're,
Yeah, and if they're family plans, it's gonna automatically be, 32,000 in just insurance. If it's two full-time employees of family plans.
Right, and we got 62,000 to play with. So we're still under.
We're still under.
So we should table this proposition for to,
It's up to the board, the council, excuse me, wrong terminology. you wait till next